Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dark Rooms podcast. I have no idea what episode this is because we haven't done an episode in so long. I am Ozone. I am joined here with Psychic, who is going to come here in a minute. I think I don't know what's happening with them, but we also have two guests because Inky and Underscore aren't here. So we have Ambience back for another book episode, and we have ImpulseEvan. So welcome, both of you.
Hello.
What's up?
We've had both of you on before.
Yes, you have.
I'm surprised you guys wanted to come back on.
It's been interesting for sure.
I'm always down.
It's a messy podcast at the moment. It's a big mess, but it's fun.
It is fun.
We're also recording this slightly after Christmas. So how are your guys' Christmases?
It's great.
Good.
Yeah, it was good. Hung out, watched a movie. Nothing huge.
Nice.
Fantastic.
On Christmas Eve, I watched Violet Night.
I watched Black Christmas, the original, on Christmas.
Sick.
I didn't watch anything because I had COVID.
So what are we doing today, Ozone?
We are talking about a book that came out a month ago. We're talking about
half a month
Somniphobia.
ago.
Okay, yeah. We're actually recording this quite early.
3 weeks ago, actually. Exactly. 3 weeks ago today.
So we're talking about Somniphobia.
Yes.
And overall thoughts on the book?
Great.
I thought it was fantastic. I think it may be the best Tales book so far.
Me too.
I agree. I would agree in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
wonder
think
how Psychic feels. I guess we'll find out one day.
We'll find out later. Yeah.
I think for me, all three stories kind of hit it out of the park, and I don't know how it did that. It was magical. It was great. It was such a good read.
Tales just keeps getting better, man.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, and Somniphobia came out today as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
getting that tomorrow night.
That is it's a book. It's great. It's so good. So we start with story one, Somniphobia.
Somniphobia. Drugs.
Does anyone want to do like a quick summary? We don't want to spend too long on a summary, but
I
don't remember
would,
the
but I'm
story
not
well
sure how
enough.
much I remember.
I think I can do one. I can do a summary, I think.
Okay.
Okay, so there's this kid. His name is Sam, and he and his friends go to Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex for one of his friend's birthday. One of his friend. I can't speak. Anyway, so for one of his friend's birthdays, they go to Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex, and they pool their tickets together to buy this thing called the Dream Sphere. And with the Dream Sphere, it basically brings their thoughts and their like subconscious to the forefront. So it also like helps them study and stuff. But when they do it, they all do it together as soon as they get home, and they really enjoy it, but not just in the way that it helps them focus and stuff. It just makes them feel really good. And basically they decide to make a schedule, so they'll swap it out each week. And Sam takes it for the first week, and then he basically aces his test. He's doing great in school, but over time he's just like, I want to use this for more, because the Dream Sphere, you're only supposed to use it for 10 minutes a day. But then Sam's like, you know what? I want to use it for more. I'm going to try 15 minutes a day. And then he does 20 minutes, and then a little bit longer than that. And over time, the more he uses it, the more he pushes away his friends, and the worse he feels about it. He likes it when he's doing it, but he doesn't like the aftermath of using it. And then one day he's just like, the Dream Sphere is ruining my life. I will give it back to my friend who actually owns it, right? So he goes to his house to drop it off, and then his friends are just like, okay, we'll do a study project. And he's like, okay, while I'm waiting for them to get here, I'll do one last time. While he's there, he's not able to get out of it once he's in it. And then his friend's dog eats his face. Anyway, so that's pretty much the end.
Yeah, there's also a emotional subplot about him using the Dream Sphere more to connect with his dead father, who died when he was 8, I believe.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty important component of the story, I think. But otherwise,
yes.
that's pretty much how it goes.
This story was really frightening, but not in the traditional kind of horror way.
Yeah.
it was scary in like an emotional way, which you don't really get that much in reading, I would say. I don't know. It's just a scary concept, and especially with the stuff with the father and stuff like that. That really got to me.
I think that's a relatable concept. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Apart from that, I can see like an overall theme, and this is gonna sound weird because it's a FNaF story. There's an overall theme of like drug abuse, right, and addiction,
Yep.
and because like once you get your hand on it, you feel like a high, and then you want to keep feeling that high. You feel it's kind of like a requirement to your life at that point, and then you never want to let go of it. And so I love how there's like this running parallel of that, especially when you think of like the Moondrop candy from FNaF VR, where it's like putting children to sleep and stuff.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It's really cool how all of that comes together.
Yeah, I like how it's basically like an analogy. It's like if maybe it like makes you feel good at the time, but it basically ruins your life in every other sense. Not that I would know or anything. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
No,
sure
yeah.
some people would scoff at it because, like Ozone said, it's FNaF. But I think my favorite thing about this story is that it actually is powerful symbolism for addiction and what it can do to someone's life. And I think it's a very again, this is like my favorite thing about the story. I think it's a very realistic and very like humanizing portrayal of it. Basically, you know, like people don't just
Yeah.
do it to feel good; they do it because they're missing something in life. It makes a lot of sense, and I think it actually is a very good parallel.
Yeah, it's a good message.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It is. So a few questions, I think, is like, do you think that Moondrop was used well? And like, do you think there was a reason to use Moondrop, or like, I don't know, like discuss?
I think that to be honest, I think that Moondrop was underused in this story. He really only
I
appears
agree.
once toward
Yeah.
the end. The Dream Spear really doesn't have a lot to do with it. I feel like Moondrop exists in this story just because he's the most fitting character. Like they looked at the character roster, they had the story planned out, and they're like, okay, who can we throw into this so that it has an animatronic, so that
Yeah,
it's still
I'd agree.
FNaF? And they just went with Moondrop because it technically makes no sense. Mega Pizzaplex related to sleep. There you go, slap him in.
Yeah, I feel like
also-
it kind of
Sorry.
makes sense in some regards, but like it's kind of a little bit random for him to just appear at the end because he himself has nothing really to do with the actual story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I guess
I
that's kind of.
compare it to Ballora from Dance With Me.
I was
Personally.
just about to say that. I kind of
Yeah.
compare it to Dance With Me because Ballora doesn't need to be Ballora in that story for it to work.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you kind of get the same ending as well, where you know there's like someone dancing with the animatronic or whatever. Kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, dancing with an animatronic and getting your face eaten off by
What?
a dog. Exact
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, shut up. Oh wait, no, I must have misremembered the ending because I swear there was something where like Moondrop takes his hand or something and they run.
Yeah,
I
he
don't know.
does. He does.
No, that is the thing.
In the dream, in like the dream state, he's like he suddenly stops feeling the pain from the dog, implying that he like probably died, and now he's trapped
Yes.
in the dream sphere. And then Moon drops, hey buddy, come with me. And then Sam's just like, I'm excited for the adventures
Yes.
I'm gonna go on with Moondrop now.
So what I did love about Moondrop is how he like appeared in the corner of his eye in the dream sphere. It was kind of like it kind of reminded me of Security Breach, where he's just kind of like crawling everywhere in the corner of your vision. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Spider-Man.
So, do we have any theories about any of this? I know I do.
Remnant drugs.
Yeah.
The way I viewed it, I think it's like there's probably a lot more here, but I view it as just a like cursed object story, basically to show like that Fazbear Entertainment is shipping out these unsafe products in every possible
Definitely.
regard and not caring as long as it makes them just a bit of profit.
There's a lot there about like memories and how it's kind of connected to Remnant, and I feel like it's kind of like a Remnant farm, right?
Yeah, kind of.
It's really
like
weird
it harvests
to
the
say that.
memories, kind of. and then eventually he dies, and then his spirit's trapped in it, kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could totally see Remnant being part of this. I just wish that it was made a bit more obvious because I really didn't get that while I was reading the story.
I saw like one of the ways that it's described in the story as kind of a connection to how Remnant is described in the final Phasma Frights epilogue. How it's like it makes people and things that are lost almost real again. And then Sam, I think I don't remember exactly what the quote was, but it says that it makes him feel both real and unreal at the same time. It kind of just reminded me of that. I don't know if that's like an
a great
intentional connection.
I
I don't
can see
know.
it.
I think it's meant to be like an actual connection, but I haven't actually heard anybody talk about that specifically.
I can totally see it.
Yeah. I think this story really shows like how big memories are in the franchise.
Yeah.
Because the whole Sam's father thing was a big element in it, like you said, Ambience.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's connected a lot because his father's dead. Like he wouldn't really remember those memories and stuff. So it's kind of like, I don't know. Also,
the dead
at the start of the story, wasn't there like two people who were discussing the dream sphere and then they threw it away or something? I don't remember.
Here's
don't-
another thing that I just thought of. Here's another thing I just thought of. So toward the end of the story, instead of just recovering lost memories, the dream sphere places Sam in a false reality. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking that I'm sure this isn't like much of a connection, but I'm thinking that Fazbear Entertainment is using very, very similar technology to the AR machine in Under Construction. It creates a reality that it thinks someone wants, basically, and then traps them in that to the point where they can't get out.
And
very similar.
That is interesting that we're getting a lot of like fake realities because we've got Under Construction, somewhat like Help Wanted, you could say.
I think Help Wanted totally counts because the illusion disc.
Yeah.
And
and it's definitely Fazbear Entertainment behind it.
Yeah,
Fazbear Entertainment, for whatever reason, in this era, is very interested in creating false realities. I feel like there's something deeper there.
There's definitely a lot more to like illusion discs and stuff like that we haven't been told about.
Yeah. I feel like with Fazbear Entertainment in the Tales stories right now, they're like they make rules. Like they're just like, oh, don't do this thing because that's dangerous. But then but because most of the main characters are kids, it's like Fazbear Entertainment. They kind of know the kids are going to be like rebellious and stuff. So those dangerous things do end up coming. Like with the AR booth, they put Under Construction, do not enter. But then obviously someone's going to try to enter. And with Haps, there's like the barricades. But then there's like areas that are blocked off, and then there's the kids that break through them, right? And then now with Somniphobia, it's like don't use for more than 10 minutes, and then I mean he does, right? And then that ends up like having a negative impact on him and stuff.
Yeah,
and also kind of more to do with pressure a little bit too, but we'll get to that when we get to it.
Yeah, I just think it's really cool that we're getting like, you know how in like Phasma Frights there was like there's loads of characters who have stepdads and there's loads of characters that have this and that. I feel like in Tales we're going to get a lot of similar themes where it's like these stories all have fake realities and these stories are about robot kids or whatever. Yeah,
like the body swap.
Pretty cool. Yeah, definitely.
It's like an ongoing trend in all the books, and it'll probably appear a lot more, or at least a little bit more.
Oh, for sure.
And it's also kind of like a little bit like Into the Pit, right? How it's like it's obviously not like an actual real life scenario that he's time traveling. It's like it's in like a memory.
Yeah, that's a good point. False realities have been around since the very beginning of Frights, and so is body swapping. It's two pretty consistent themes.
I created a Google Doc of connections between Phasma Frights and Tales from the Pizzaplex because I've noticed some things that like make them that like kind of tie them together a little bit. So I'm like noting all the connections I notice between each story and each book and stuff. So I'm just wondering whether or not some Mechanophobia is going to follow that as well.
Interesting. I think I have one more thing to say, but I cannot remember what it was.
Well, in the
Um,
meantime, what did you guys think of the overall quality of the story? Because I think I may have a different take on it than you guys, and I'm curious.
Really?
Yeah.
so
Well,
I'm praising it a lot, but I think it was great, but it wasn't like the best.
I I put it on my tier list. I put it on S tier because I really like it. I think
I'd probably say A.
I think for book 3, just overall was definitely the best Tales book
Oh,
so
it was
far.
wild.
It was really good. And Somniphobia is not the only story from the book that I put in S tier.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think it is a bit of a hot take for me, but I think this is the second weakest story so far, and I think it's the weakest out of
In
both
all
of
of Tales?
Oh
Or
wow.
Yeah, I think it's the second weakest in all of Tales,
what's the
and
weakest?
Haps, in my opinion, because it's very repetitive.
My man,
Based.
I agree. I agree.
Based.
Based.
Yeah.
Based as hell.
Based. Based.
But a lot of the I had some similar issues with Haps and Somniphobia. I think in Somniphobia it's not nearly as bad and it doesn't like appear as nearly as much of a weak point. But I
Mhm.
feel like a lot of the story, like a lot of the middle is very repetitive. It's Sam uses a dream sphere, experiences memory rather, gets in false reality, uses it a little longer every time. There's not really a whole lot of like different stuff there, I feel like.
Fair.
And
I can see that. Yeah.
I do think that the emotional component could have been expanded on more, and I think it could have been built up more from the beginning.
I do think it was a really sad story, though.
I think it was sad, but I think there's sadder. Like Coming Home and The Real Jake both actually made me really upset. This story, even though
B7
the
made me sad.
B7 is really depressing. And yeah,
B7 was
definitely.
rough, bro.
Oh yeah, that was rough to get through. But Somnophobia, I feel like even though the concept makes me like sad, I guess, then I feel like the execution didn't get as much out of it as it easily could have.
That's completely fair, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, good story. By no like average or above for sure. But because of how good Tails has been, I feel like it is definitely the second weakest.
I was gonna say it's hard to rank
Understandable.
Tales because they are all so good.
Yeah. Under
Like,
Construction is all over the place for me right now, dude. I cannot figure out where to put it.
really?
I put it in
Yeah.
B tier.
Yeah, I have it in B tier right now as well, but it has gone from it's moved from I think it initially was in D tier and it went to A and then to B. Like I
For
cannot
me,
decide where to put it.
for me, it was initially in C, but now it's in B.
That makes sense. Yeah, I think Under Construction is a story I might need to revisit because of how much it's changed since we first heard about it, like the new interpretations.
Yeah.
I just think it's really good, honestly.
Ashton and Blob.
I like it for sure.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Do we want to move on?
Is Psychic
Think-
ever coming?
He
don't
may
know.
be here eventually. But yeah, I think we covered Somnophobia. Unless you guys got any other
Yeah,
closing
I think
thoughts.
One
we did,
thing I
but
wanna
when
say-
Psychic comes back, we'll talk about it again.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say is
Mhm.
I really want to use the Dream Sphere on In the Flesh.
Yeah,
just visual. visual
one more
representation of-
thing. One more closing
based.
thing I did want to say about Somnophobia also is I would really like to see the Dream Sphere pop up again later. Like even if it's just a
Ooh.
small cameo that expands a bit on it, I'd love to see
It-
us expanded on in a future story or an epilogue because I feel like
It
we didn't
could
get to know
be-
enough about it.
It could be like kind of like the ball pit, how it like it starts off or it shows up early on and then it becomes important later on.
Yeah,
Or
I
maybe
really
the
like to
ARB.
see that.
Could
The
be
balls
something
in the
like
ball pit are all
that. The balls and the
Dream Spheres.
they're all dream spheres.
I don't know. But yeah, I'd love to see it expanded on because I think it's a really interesting object, and we get like criminally little information about it in the story.
Mm-hmm.
Final
it's very
thing I want to
well, yeah.
say is timeline
Mhm.
placement because I've been doing timeline videos
Timeline
every now and then
Mhm.
for the Tales books, and there's not actually much to go off of this. There's not much to go off of in this story, except for the fact that
Ooh.
the crew of the Pizzaplex are Glamrock Freddy, Glamrock Chica,
Yeah.
Roxanne Wolf, and Montgomery Gator.
Yeah,
which
meaning Bonnie's
means
I noticed that, yeah.
Bonnie
Bonnie's
is
gone already.
So it has to be in the later half of the Pizzaplex, I would say.
I think this story is just a few months before Security Breach. I feel like
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
it is definitely the latest story we've seen so far with the Pizzaplex actually functioning. I feel like.
The thing is, though, we don't hear anything about the staff bots, though.
That is true.
It could just
We
be that
haven't
they're
heard about
not
the staff bots
relevant,
at
but I
all,
feel like
though.
it's kind of weird that they didn't mention them.
Yeah, we haven't
that
heard
is a
about the
good
staff
point.
bots at all, though, have we?
So maybe the staff bots was like right before security breach.
Well, I think so because remember Vanessa is 23 in FNaF AR before she's at the Pizzaplex. So if we assume that she's still 23 by security breach, then and the fact that she's already working there by the time the staff bots are installed, then it has to be pretty soon, not too long before.
Sure, yeah.
Sure.
No. I'm agreeing. But...
Okay. Yeah.
All right,
I think it makes
let's move on.
All right, pressure time.
Pressure. This is the most popular story by far.
I feel like
Is
I
it-
don't love this story quite as much as a lot of other people do, but it's still really good.
I was going to say I think it is overrated, but not to say it's bad.
Absolutely.
So
I also have it in S tier though, so
It's an A tier for me
A/S
right
for me.
now. It's an A
Yeah.
tier for me right now. Barely top 3 currently.
the only other full story that's an S tier for me is Help Wanted.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
My only S tier right now is B7.
really. B7's A for me.
I think B7 is like beautifully written and really unique, which is why I put it at S. But
I
all
have
of
2
these stories are great.
epilogues in
Yeah.
S tier though. So.
listen, we'll do a tier list episode, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Right, let's move
Will
on.
I be there?
Okay.
I should be there.
I mean, maybe we could do a mega Girls from the Pizzaplex tier list with like loads of guests,
Yeah.
and it has to be a compromise tier list.
I found the tier list actually since I think Ozone and I were talking about this briefly at one point. I found the tier list as frights and tale stories if we wanted to do that.
Oh,
Every FNaF book. All of them.
anyway, anyone want to do the pressure summary?
I did
Or-
Somniphobia. So
Should I just read off the wiki? Because I don't actually remember the
Just
story
read off
very
the
well.
wiki.
Yeah, I'd like to do a summary. I feel like I'm gonna miss out. Like I'm gonna leave out important details.
I could do it again.
You're very
Could
good
do
at
it
them.
again. Am I? I'm better at them when I script them, but,
if Evan won't, then I can attempt it.
I can do it. I can do it if you want. If you want to, you can go for it.
Okay, we're gonna get caught in an endless loop here. I'm just gonna try for it, I guess.
Okay.
All right.
Just let's add details if we remember any.
Yeah. If you guys remember any, then
Yeah.
feel free to add them. So protagonist is a high school senior named Luca. He is at the Pizzaplex with 3 of his friends, including a girl that
Fake
he has a
friends.
crush on named Maddie, who's currently dating one of his best friends. All of his friends are kind of assholes, by the way. This is like kind of
Absolutely.
important for later on in the
Definitely.
story. They're really not good people.
Correct.
Yeah. So basically, they're going to go into the role playing area, which sounded ridiculous to everyone who read the summary. But the roleplay area basically has simulated scenarios based off of various events throughout Fazbear Entertainment's history. In this case, they're going with one that simulates Fazbear's Fright, the events of FNaF 3, basically, where Springtrap runs
one
around.
location though.
Yeah, basically, Springtrap runs around in Fazbear's Fright, kills some teens, basic slasher horror type setup.
Yeah.
So
So-
they get in there.
Wait. So basically, it's the Urban Legend Role Players Auditorium is what
Yeah.
it's called.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about Urban
And
Legends.
one of the costumes there is Golden Freddy.
Yes. Yo,
So-
Matt Pat was wrong. He exists.
Yeah, firstly, that
Yep,
disproves
he
Matt Pat's
exists.
theory.
I think
Let's get that
everything
out of
about
the
this
way.
story disproves Matt Pat's theory, bro.
Yeah,
But it's
really
it's crazy that Fazbear Entertainment kind of know about Golden Freddy, or if they don't know about it, it's just a guess.
It's really weird. We'll get into that in the theory segment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But anyway, so basically, someone has to be Springtrap, of course. Luca really doesn't want to be Springtrap, but everyone else already got their costumes, so he's having to
Yeah.
do it anyway. So he puts on the suit. It's really gross. You can't really see well out of it. He feels just generally uncomfortable and wants
It's
to get it
very
over with.
realistic and disgusting.
Yeah, it's like very
The smell.
realistic, very grimy. It's both the fact the suit is disgusting and that he doesn't even really want to pretend to be a killer. He just likes being
Yeah.
a good guy.
Yeah.
So
and
they
he
get
knows
into-
the story of Springtrap, so he's like,
Yeah.
oh, this guy's messed up. I don't want to be him.
Yeah, he believes in all the urban legends that we know are true about Fazbear Entertainment. So obviously,
Yeah.
he's
Mhm.
pretty freaked out by the idea of basically being Afton. So he puts on the suit. They go into the simulated area. They start the game. Whatever his friends hide, he goes to the safe room. By this point, he's getting poked by quite a bit of stuff and just feels really uncomfortable. Like stuff is jabbing at his skin. So he gets out of the safe room, chases his friends around, and a lot of the time when he moves and tries to scare his friends or sneak up on them or whatever, then he just ends up hurting himself somehow because something in the suit keeps poking into him. So this keeps up for a while. He keeps chasing his friends around the building. And then he starts to realize that he's actually bleeding from the stuff that keeps stabbing into him. And over time, he slowly starts to realize that he's actually wearing a real Springlock suit.
Yes.
So he knows all about this, of course, because he knows about the urban legend. So he's like, "Oh my god, I gotta get out of here." This is a real
everything he
suit.
says in the story is completely true.
Yeah.
Like, I love how he just like guesses everything about.
He's like, oh
Cypher
yeah,
King's past.
this, and this. Oh yeah, okay. Turns out I'm correct. All right.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. Like, honestly, just have this guy be Matt Pat's successor. He'd be way better at it.
True.
But
True.
his friends don't believe him anyway. They're the classic doubters. So once he realizes that he's wearing a Springlock suit, he knows that he has to get out. He can't take the suit off really. So he has to run around and tell his friends what's going on. So he keeps trying to chase them around and tell them what's going on. And they're acting like complete idiots the entire time. They're giggling like children, climbing
They
through
think
vents like Among
they-
Us, scattered
they-
all over the building.
They think he's like really good in character, basically.
Yeah, they think he's a really good
It's
method
really
actor when he's like literally just trying to warn them that he's actually dying. So
Yeah.
eventually he passes out. His friends can't find him. They assume he already left, so they just leave the game. So he wakes up a bit later and he's about to leave and thinks that he still has a chance at survival. And then he hears a noise behind a curtain. So he goes over and checks and sees a security guard that he happened to see earlier, basically being an EDP 445, staring at some children in a not so delightful way. So there's a few kids that have signed up to play the game as well that are all playing the heroes or whatever that his friends are playing. So he sees Earl putting on, that's the name of the security guard. He sees Earl put on a Springtrap costume. That's just a costume. He got kind of the short end of the straw here. He's the only one that is wearing an actual Springlock suit. So he sees Earl start following a little girl around, and he runs after them, even though he's like in terrible pain and agony and bleeding out. He chases this guy around and eventually finds him trying to kill the girl in a supply closet. So he breaks in there and he tackles the guy and strangles him to death. And then a few minutes later, then he just bleeds out. But right before he bleeds out, then he's happy and confident. Basically, he realizes that he's done the right thing. His moral compass is working again. He wasn't pressured into anything bad by anyone else. So it's kind of a victory in a way. Like every Tales protagonist has died so far, but I could totally see an interpretation of both frailty and pressure of them being happy endings, kind of.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I made that a little long-winded, but anyway.
No, that was very good. That was very good.
Thanks.
So, this is an amazing story.
It's great for sure.
It tackles an amazing concept, and I mean, you wouldn't even think it's like such a good concept because it is like we're role playing as Springtrap and kids that are in the Fazbear's Fright, but no, it's genuinely really well written.
Yeah,
really
it
good.
sounds ridiculous, but it's actually really well done.
And-
Evan just dropped out, but he'll be back later, I'm sure.
Oh, and the Springlock scene is the Springlock. Oh, hello. The Springlock.
My Discord's breaking.
The Springlock suit. Like, what's it called? I don't even know what it's called. What's it called? The Springlock malfunction is like crazy.
Springlock failure.
It's really failure. That's it.
Multiple and
really well written.
simultaneous Springlock failures.
Yes. And there's a lot of lore in the story.
Lore.
First of all, did you guys realize that Earl is an anagram of real?
Wait, what? Real? I did not realize this.
Real. So, I think that Earl was supposed to have the real Springlock suit, right? And
hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Dark Rooms podcast.
Oh, hi, Psychic.
Hi, guys. I'm so sorry. I was dealing
nice
with
of you to join us.
I was dealing with an important matter. It was like last minute. I got a call from someone important, and I was like, "Crap, I have to take
All
this."
good. All good. My
So-
Discord's kind of breaking right now.
So hi everybody, welcome to this episode. We're talking about Somniphobia on Suffocating.
Oh my
Family's
god!
release
No
date.
way.
So, Psychic, quickly, what did you think of Somniphobia?
Somniphobia. I thought it was a good story. You know, Sam,
Yeah.
he's a fun lad. His dad is dead. Classic, classic Dark Rooms moment.
Poggers. Okay.
I thought it was interesting, and I think the friends are jerks, and he didn't deserve it, and rest is spaghetti, never forgetty.
Fantastic. So, Pressure was really good as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we just went through a summary of Pressure, and we're talking about some possible theories. I just said that Earl is an anagram of real, so it kind of shows like he was the one who had that Springtrap suit, while Luca was supposed to have the fake one. Yeah.
It's real spring walk.
Also, I
Yeah.
am getting over a cold, so I will be coughing.
What is
So if
wrong
I
with
ever
my
mute
Discord?
randomly, that's why. Sorry about that.
Okay.
But yeah.
And the other thing was that the Springlock suits were decommissioned shortly after they were used, right?
Right.
So
Another story where the
Are we
friends
saying-
absolutely suck.
Exactly.
Yeah, this seems to be. This is actually a common theme all throughout the book. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, the friends just suck.
Somniphobia and Pressure, especially, are like really similar.
Yeah, and then there's Claustrophobia's ending, which we'll get to in a bit.
Oh, I have something
Yeah.
to say about that.
Claustrophobia's ending might be one of the favorite endings ever.
I love Claustrophobia. man, but we'll
For
get to
for
that
those
in a
of
bit.
you who know what,
Freaking Andrew
for those
Tate.
of you who know like Inky, his reaction to like Room for One More is kind of like my reaction to this story. If you know what I'm talking about.
In what way?
Well, you know, he was like disturbed by it and like his throat actually hurt. And I was very disturbed by the
Oh.
ending of the story. But I'll get to that later.
God damn.
Yeah.
So, Pressure. Back to Pressure.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you guys want to say about Pressure?
I didn't even hear half of what you guys were saying because my Discord has been pooping itself, so.
Yeah, I think we'll just do like overall opinions, theories, that type of thing, like we did for Somni.
Yeah.
You should put pressure on that subscribe button.
So
Subscribe does
what
start
I was
with S.
mentioning is the Springlock suits were decommissioned shortly after they were made, right? So is that because
Yes.
of the multiple simultaneous Springlock failures, or the bite?
Okay,
I
so.
think John Dude says it's from the Springlock failures, right?
I don't
A
think
lot
it's
of
the bite.
I will say this. A lot of people say this disproves MCI 83. And while I don't even believe MCI 83, I will say this story doesn't really disprove it because this is something a lot of my friends have been saying because they believe MCI 83. Basically, in FNaF 3, they talk about how there will be replacement suits. So it's possible that there was the Springlock failure, and then there was the replacement suits, which came, and then maybe they were what we saw in FNaF 4. They're still Springlock suits, but like slightly less dangerous ones. And then
I don't think
and
the
then
bite
the
was a
bite
Springlock
is
failure.
what I don't really think so either. But I'm saying that maybe the bite got people to realize that Springlocks are dangerous either way. So that's what just actually got them shut down.
I don't agree with that.
I don't either, but it's not like impossible. Ow! I banged my elbow.
See, the thing is with the bite, it wasn't in a Springlock mode. It was just a normal robot. Normal beep bop robot, just vibing, and then suddenly chomp chomp.
Is that boyfriend from
Shut up.
Friday Night Funkin'?
I mean, technically,
I meant beep boop, but you know whatever.
technically, it could have been like a Springlocks in the jar or something, because obviously there's different sections of the Springlocks, right? Because in Pressure itself, they kind of trigger at different times. I'm not saying I believe it is. I'm just saying that it's technically possible.
Would it be possible that the Springlock incident that got him decommissioned was kind of like what we see in Pressure, where it's like like they say it's simultaneous, but that can mean a lot of things. Like maybe it actually was just like one by one them going off, and then because I mean that would be like You know, if anything were to get something shut down, it'd be like watching someone slowly die. Just saying.
Maybe. I don't know. Lore. Anyway.
Lord.
Let's not forget that there's a Springlock suit in Sister Location.
True. It's true.
So when was that made? That must have been made in 1983.
Yeah, sure.
1985.
fun time
Demise of the
animatronics,
Five
so-
Lives.
Okay, good.
you know that was like 2 years ago now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I really want to remake it. Should we remake it, Psychic?
Absolutely. My
Do
part
it.
Let's do it right
sucked.
now.
Okay.
1985, Demise of the Five Lives, a daughter died, a killer unidentified by genocide, terrified, a sentimental lies tale verified to exemplify the loss of life to his mouse eyes, lies of the robotics, chaotic electronics, while the remnants...
If I had the ability to ban
concept
Ozone
of
That was
Jolly
literally
Roger
that's
topic.
gonna be the hottest track. Of
Bro, I thought
2023.
we were. I muted myself so I didn't interrupt yet, and then Psychic just comes in hot with
The
the.
robots
I
have
was
the losses
into
and
that.
electronics,
That was
hypnotic
He's like,
Can
"Can I
voice
ban
being
Ozone?"
All right.
Chemistry, the man of a killing spree has vanity. The tragedies came from his psychopathic personality, insanity. Now his immortality split reality, and actually, naturally, his tenacity took vanity. What we hold a lot of devil, we soul was the soul of devil. We're told is in our head, with his soul is up his head, his gold is a threadbare. Cold on the Fred stare, right into the soul.
Fred
Fred unsolved, yeah.
Okay,
Great.
Ozone,
Anyways,
Ozone, buddy, we will remake it. Don't worry, we'll remake
Psychic,
it.
it's your
do it.
turn.
I don't even remember my part. I think I sang it out of tune in
Another
the
day,
track.
another death. It's not. It's not.
I'm
that hard,
pretty
dude.
sure I sang that
Even
out
I
of
remember
tune.
it.
Okay, can we get back to the podcast?
Yeah, I was gonna remind. I'm like, the book exists.
The book.
We have to get through Somni so we
Sorry.
can talk about submechanophobia.
All right.
Because we
Well,
are
we're not
way
doing
off.
that yet.
We are way behind.
All right.
Right.
Are we done with pressure or no? Just
I don't think
opinions,
there's
I
much
guess.
else to talk about. I think it's just a really good story that we needed as well, because we've gotten a lot of stories with Springtrap, and I think this one probably does Springtrap the best justice.
This one
Actually-
is the first good Springtrap story to me.
Yeah.
Also, I swear, if Mike Trapper still exists after this story, bro. Like, they literally say William Afton is Springtrap.
They do. Oh yeah,
Like,
we got a William after
directly.
name drop.
It
They
can't
literally
be,
just
man.
blatantly say it.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, it's FNaF theories. If you ignore it, it doesn't exist.
That's
Yeah, like
true.
Golden Freddy.
True. Yeah,
My-
like Golden Freddy.
Actually, my favorite part of the story actually is probably the ending. I
I
really like the ending.
I like
Yeah.
the ending.
I love
like
what they did with
everything
it.
about
story.
the story.
I like the story not so much for the Springtrap or Springlock aspects of it, but I just think it's a great character arc for Luca. I think he's one of the best protagonists in the book so far. I'll be honest, I think Together Forever did Springlocks better, and I like that version. Like, I like that telling us Springlocks better, but I am all for the character arc that Pressure does here. I think it's beautiful.
I just really like how they set up Earl really early, and then
Mhm.
and then later they revealed it, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's Earl.
Yeah, I think he could have shown up a bit more
Oh.
early besides that one scene, but I think it did set him up. It's much preferable to him just
Early.
appearing out of nowhere.
Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of like Fine Player 2 with like just this random creepy guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was totally getting Fine Player 2 vibes from it.
Yeah.
Great story
He was
also,
innocent,
by the
though.
way.
True.
Yeah.
Emmett Tucker.
Emmett did nothing wrong.
Temmet Ucker.
Justice for Emma. Emma? Emma.
Justice for
I
Emma.
combined
Who's Emma?
Emmett and Tucker.
Emma
All right, are we
Ecker.
moving on to Cleithrophobia?
Tecker.
Yeah, let's get on to
Yeah.
Cleithrophobia.
Cleithrophobia.
What a story!
What the hell was this prologue?
Oh my goodness!
I love the prologue. I love this whole story, but especially the prologue.
This is my
gives
favorite thing that the books have ever done.
us. I like how it gives us like exposition that doesn't lead to that much, but like it leads to a little bit.
It's
just
just nice little
It
connections.
just basically
man.
sets up that the character's gonna die. That's pretty much it.
I just
spoiled
like
the ending
I mean,
for us.
to be fair,
I just like
we
the
knew that
connections
the
of all
character was going to
stories.
die. There's not been a single there's not been a single time in Facebook where the character survives.
With a happy ending.
There's not been a single one.
Yeah, Fast or Frights. So there were some happy endings.
There were
Tales
a
from
couple.
Pizza Plex? Nah.
Nah, they're all
Yep.
dead.
These are definitely
mean-
tales from the Pizzaplex.
Not all of them. B7 was in like the 80s.
Help Wanted just was pre-Pizzaplex times.
It was it was in the BP era before Pizzaplex.
Before Pizza Plex.
That's a great abbreviation.
It's structured like the
AP.
Bible. It's the Fazbear Frights and the tales from the Pizzaplex.
But yeah, the prologue is just so nice. Like it's it sets up some really good connections. I think it just telling us like more and confirming the interpretation of under construction is great.
Yeah, so-
mentions of haps, mentions of pressure, so good.
For those who don't remember, the prologue was essentially just a group of people basically touring the Pizzaplex in its early days, which is insane. Like, it's crazy that we got that.
I was watching.
But the biggest thing was we got toured around, and then there was just this dome that was filled with smoke and people screaming and like people crowding around it and stuff. And it turns out that like that's the under construction. That's what happened to Maya.
It blew up.
It's so crazy that that's what we got in this prologue.
I was watching your. That was actually one video I went back to see your reaction video.
Oh, yeah.
It was so funny.
I just like read it and kind of just screamed.
Reddit moment.
Reddit moment? Hey, yo.
Oh god.
Okay.
But yeah, prologue is great. Actual story I really like as well. It's not better than Pressure objectively, I feel like, but it is my favorite story from the book.
I think
It's my least favorite.
Really?
I think
Okay.
the story gets overshadowed by
I don't
the prologue.
dislike it. I don't dislike the story, but it's my least favorite. Not of Tales, but of the book.
Yeah. I
Least
genuinely
favorite
think
tabs.
like I think the fact that there was that amazing prologue there like overshadowed the rest of the story.
Yeah, I can see
I
that.
can see it. I still think the rest of the story is good, but I'll talk about
It
that.
is really good if you look past the prologue as well.
So,
Yeah.
let's go into a summary, like of the actual story.
Yeah.
So
quick, Psychic.
we have what's his face,
Brady.
Brady. Yeah,
Brady,
Brady. And he's like, you know, he's a technician. This is before the Pizzaplex is opened, which I believe it said 5 months earlier, right?
Yep.
That means that, correct me if I'm wrong, but, what's it called?
Under
What's
construction?
Under construction is like the earliest Pizzaplex story we
Yeah.
have.
Yes. And
Yeah.
that has to take place in May because that's when Maya's birthday is.
Yes. So that means that this story takes place in December or January.
Yes.
But no, this is after Under Construction.
No, this is before.
Sorry. So no, I thought you were talking about the prologue for some reason. I'm stupid.
No,
I have
you're
no brain.
So
Yeah. Okay. So
we got Grady. He's like his friends come like, hey, let's bounce. You know, we're kind of bored. We'll just
Ronan
come
the
back.
Accuser and Andrew Tate.
Yeah. They're like, listen, we don't want to come back tomorrow. Or we don't mind coming back tomorrow. So Grady's like, no, I'm staying. They're like, that's against the rules though, and it's called out that no one's supposed to be there alone.
I wonder
So-
why.
Yeah, I wonder why. Basically, they're like, this sucks. I'm tired of this. We're leaving. So they leave.
There's a rule that nobody can be there alone, so the story can happen. Come on, bro.
Yeah, fair enough. So he's like, fine, I'm gonna do my last task. You know, hopefully the imposter.
Among Us. Hey yo.
Among Us moment. So Grady goes to this place called Blora's Fitness and Flex. It's like this giant tube maze, kind of like Haps, but you start at the top and you gotta get to the bottom. But As you get lower down, the tubes get smaller and smaller. Can I just say, this sounds horrible. This sounds like
It really does.
this sounds
I
like
don't
Why
know
is
why
this
they
an
thought
attraction?
this would be popular.
yeah, this would not be popular at all.
Can I say something funny?
These things don't have
Um,
haps either, so like, what's the point?
I find it funny how they made a Ballora's Fitness and Flex because in Sister Location, Hand Unit
Yeah,
describes
yeah.
Ballora as having getting fit and eating pizza or something.
Encouraging kids to get fit and enjoy
Yeah.
pizza.
There you go. Yeah. You go.
So Grady's like, fine, I'll do it. I don't want to, because basically when he was a little youngling, his mom got a babysitter and she brought her boyfriend over and he stuffed him in the closet for
Freaking
like
boon.
6 hours, and it gave him claustrophobia because he couldn't get out. So
yeah, the fear of
he-
being trapped.
he sucks it up. He climbs to the top of the ladder. He meets the Ballora, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you out if you get stuck." He's like, "I'm only doing this because if this fails and a kid gets stuck, I don't want them getting the same trauma I did." So he hops in. He decides to vent, and starts making his way through. He starts just wiggling through the tunnels, just vibing, and then he gets a first checkpoint. He's like, I've made it, and he realizes that he's only a third of the way through, and he's like, oh crap. So he keeps going, and then he gets stuck, and he's like, uh-oh. So
Scary.
he starts screaming, and Ballora's like, hi, do you want some help? And he's like, yes, get me out of here. So she grabs on and starts pulling him down further, and he's screaming this hurts, because it's a robot. It doesn't.
She doesn't care.
She doesn't care. And then he gets to the second checkpoint. He's like, ugh. I'm just gonna stay here. And then he's like,
He's
wait,
like, all right, we good.
I'm good. I don't want this anymore. And he's like, oh, but I can't go any
But
further.
he's like, I'll be the laughing stock.
yeah. The reason he doesn't stay is because he doesn't want to be a laughing stock.
Like Hank Schrader.
Yeah. So he's like, fine, I'll go again. So he starts going in, and then he gets stuck. And then he's like,
Again.
crap. But
Yeah,
he's
'cause
like,
they get smaller again.
He's like, I can't call for Ballora, otherwise she'll rip my arms
hurt me.
free. So he just stays there, and then Ballora's like, hey, I see you stopped moving. And he's like, no, I'm good. I'm good. And she's like, no, you need my help, fam. And he's like,
I'm okay. I'm fine.
I'm okay.
Please no.
and then she grabs on, and she just starts pulling him, and it just goes into detail, how his hands shatter, his arms shatter. She keeps trying to pull him, and
This is brutal.
it's so
at
brutal.
first-
And one of her fingers stabs his eye.
Yeah, at first he's just like, oh, okay, thank God I'm out of that that area that I was stuck at. Thank God I'm out of that now. And then he's like, oh crap, never mind. I'd rather be there than here.
Yeah. And he just gets pulled, and then he gets he gets so mangled. And I will say I was eating while I was reading the story.
Oh no.
You weren't eating for long.
Dude, one of
I
my friends
actually
ordered
got
pizza while
physically
reading-
sick reading this.
Yeah, one of my friends ordered pizza while he was reading Pizza Kit for the first time because he thought it'd be funny, and he wanted to throw it out the window, apparently.
He's like,
I
I'm eating
actually
flesh.
had her under the bathroom because I was physically sick by the end of the story.
It reminds me of how when I watched The Walking Dead for the first time, sometimes I would watch it while I was eating food, and then there would be scenes where zombies eating people, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be eating anymore.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm no longer hungry.
It's really good that has that sort of effect, though.
Yeah.
on the
Yeah,
reader.
because that means it's
Um,
doing its job well. It's really
yeah,
unsettling.
yeah.
So then we cut to his friends who are like, listen, I forgot my stuff. And so they drive back, and they get there and hey, let's go check on Grady. I bet it'd be really funny. And they're like, okay, let's go. So they head down.
He's doing a thing he's scared of.
Yeah. And they just walk in, and they just see him just there's blood, and he's just mangled, and they're like, oh! And they start freaking out, and then they're talking, and then he's like, listen,
Andrew Tate is
let's
like,
just leave.
yo,
Let's leave. Let's leave him here. And they're like, what? No. And he's like, listen, look at him. He's not surviving an extraction. The only thing that'll happen if we call someone is that we're going to get in trouble as well. And they're like, fine, and then they leave. They just leave him.
That's so stupid.
It's amazing writing.
and they're like, is he still alive? Because his eye's twitching.
And like he is alive.
He is alive. Yeah, he can hear them.
He can hear them.
And Gray's like, I don't blame him, but I wish they'd stayed. So
I
I
would
wasn't
blame
alone.
them. But he has Ballora, so he's good.
Yeah, but Laura's like, I'm gonna help you, and that's where the story ends.
Yep.
So good. So
I
amazing.
love this, right? Yeah.
Oh boy!
I love the ending where they have to like make that decision whether to be
It was a stupid ass decision, but
This is my favorite ending, mainly for not my favorite ending like in the entire book series, but one of my favorite endings recently. Just because a lot of these stories, I feel like, that end with the protagonist like dying and then it cuts off, or getting injured and it cuts off. You know, we have a page or two of their friends or whatever walking in and finding them.
Yeah,
but we
just
don't really
see
get
their reaction.
Yeah, we just see the reaction. We don't get that expanded on. This makes that a crucial part of the story and subverts expectations in the best way, and I really like it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just when I thought it was going to end, it kind of continued on for like a good
exactly.
few more pages.
The thing is, it makes it feel less repetitive. Like, this is another tube story, like Paps, but it has so much more variety.
So I think this story was structured just beautifully, really. It has the prologue that shows you that something went wrong at Ballora's Finis and Flex. It goes back to that time. It goes through the entire story and then kind of goes back to the friend's perspective and their choice. And I just love that structure, personally. I think it works really well.
The pacing is really close to perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, as we were saying about Haps, it was kind of like a attraction that nobody really cares about because you can't visualize it very well. I think that this could have suffered from the same sort of problem, but it didn't because they kept it quite short and concise.
Yeah.
And
it
was very lovely to go through, even though it was disgusting.
Yeah.
A lot of people said they thought the gore was unnecessary. I didn't think so at all. I thought it made like perfect sense. And was used really effectively.
Definitely. And a big part of this story, I like. Dance With Me, I absolutely love. I think it's a really good story. But I have to admit, Ballora was used a lot better here. Like, she fit in perfectly.
I think it's really cool to see like the difference between like Haps and Pressure and Cleithrophobia, because all those stories like took place like at this like on the same day. Like basically they were all in the same time, but like one of them felt like very long and drawn out. And the other ones felt like just long enough. And I think these two did it really much better.
I would say, I would say that Cleithrophobia, it is a little bit repetitive like Haps, but it is broken up in a way that doesn't make that too much of a problem. At least not as much of a problem as Haps. But I will say the decision. I like the concept of how the friends come in and make that decision. But the decision they make is actually like really stupid. Because like, well, I don't understand why they couldn't have just lied and be like, "Oh yeah, we were here the whole time." Like, wouldn't that have been easier? If they think he's gonna die, then he's not gonna be there to say that they're lying, right?
Well, I mean,
I
either
don't
way,
really
even if he was there, then it'd mean that they were negligent. Like, either way,
they have a bunch of different. They have completely separate jobs though, so it's not really negligent because they're each doing their own thing.
I guess so, but like he was in the.
Wasn't one of the rules though that they can't split up?
No, they can't. Everybody has to be in the same building. They don't have to be in the same attraction at the same time.
I think the point was that it was a really difficult decision for them because they didn't really know if helping him was going to be beneficial in any way because he's kind of dead already. He's like a mangle up in this tube or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like, no matter what they did there, let's be honest, the decision seems stupid and, like, uncaring, but that guy was not going to survive, no matter what.
Oh, yeah. No, he was dead. He was dead, but he was still breathing.
I feel like them not saying that he not, like, calling the police or anything would probably be worse because then that would mean that they left without him anyway. Right? So, yeah, I just feel like it's a stupid decision. But I do like the
Uh,
idea that they would have to make a decision.
I
I
think it
like
was a
that
stupid
as
decision.
it's unique.
I think it was a stupid decision, but in some way, kind of like.
I think it makes
that's how
sense.
one-
I
does
think it
make
makes
sense
sense because we're shown that Tate is a lazy sleazeball who only looks out for himself, like very early on.
Right.
A lot of people compare him to Andrew Tate, which is funny, but I feel like if
I
anything,
just joke about that
maybe,
because his name is Tate.
yeah, I think
But he's
if
not
anything,
like Andrew Tate.
I think if anything, like while
Well.
we're saying the name Tate, I think he's more similar to the character from American Horror Story, which to the point it could be an outright reference, but anyway, I think it makes sense because he's shown to be like a total sleazeball, and Ronan or whatever his name is, I
Ronan.
feel like is very easily manipulated as well.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
really needs his job, so he's willing to do
That's another
what,
thing. The
Tate
characters,
convinces him that he needs to do is to keep it, he goes along with it. Makes sense.
the characters were very well built up on. I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think so too. Yeah.
The thing that I like about Gleephophobia also, compared to Somniphobia, the other phobia story we have so far, is one of my biggest criticisms of Somniphobia is I feel like it doesn't use the phobia itself enough. Like, the guy isn't
I would
afraid
agree.
of sleeping. The guy isn't afraid of sleeping. He's afraid of basically everything else. Like, the fear isn't even something that he has. It's only what
Yeah.
ends up killing him.
Yeah,
Whereas
what-
Gleephophobia
yeah, exactly.
is present. There's a huge backstory. There's a legitimate reason for it that's very believable, and it shows up all throughout the story.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Awkward silence.
Yeah, awkward silence. I just can't get over like how well it was written. I'm gonna
very
keep
well written.
saying
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
pacing's brilliant. Characters are good. I may move it up at
They're
some
like-
point.
the tubes as well.
I have it in B.
Like, it's incredible that like he goes down to like the first checkpoint and there's no going back. There's only going further,
Yeah.
and there's going to be a point where you can't go any further.
What
It's
sucks is if
amazing.
he had waited, he would have been fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If I was him, I would have probably not been successful in doing this, but I would try to like break out, like kick down the tubes or whatever, like kick
See,
out of.
I'm a
the area.
skinny, I'm a skinny little boy, so I'll probably.
I'm a
get through
chunky
it
boy, so I wouldn't even fit in the tubes in general.
just- you wouldn't go in the first.
No.
That's so weird. Who
It's to
thought
myself.
this was a good idea?
I don't know, man.
The CEO of Phasma Entertainment, aka Baby.
Baby, baby, maybe.
Anyway,
Funny.
so call me
Just kidding, it's
Baby.
not funny. No,
No.
I'll call you Ozone.
I mean, never mind.
Okay, what were you gonna say there? Hold up.
Never mind.
All right. Anyway, are we done with Gleephophobia yet, or are we?
I think so.
I don't think we're done. I think I need to hear what Psychic has to say.
Yeah,
No,
me too.
we're done. We're done.
Okay.
I'll tell you after the recording.
Are you sure about that? Okay. All right. Well,
I'm scared.
Gleephophobia. I have it in B tier. I understand why you guys like it. I like it, but I don't love it.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Fair.
Lore. Are there any theories about this? I didn't really think of anything regarding it.
I think Ballora just being in the Pizzaplex opens up a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of other Ballora references in Security Breach itself and Help Wanted too. So I feel like I mean, it could technically be possible that it's like building up to something else with her. I kind of doubt it, but like it's possible.
It
You
is
know what
really cool that
sucks?
we got her, though.
You know what really sucks though?
What?
Ballora's Fitness and Flex
She
would have
doesn't have
still.
legs.
Ballora and Fitness and Flex would still have been more fun than Mazer Size.
Yeah.
That's true. No, in Security Breach, I feel like that kind of concept, having to go down but you're not able to go back up. I feel like that would be like a kind of cool.
You mean
Like,
kind of like what they
game
did
mechanic.
with the.
Freaking squeeze mechanic.
It's like
seriously hope that-
it's like the
I
wiggle
ser-
mechanic in Security in SS location.
Yeah. I seriously hope that Security Breach, like in Ruin, I hope that they show some stuff from Tales. Like, I just want.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean
Explore
stuff that
those
could have been like
areas.
covered up and stuff. Because
Yeah, like the
Laura's
half
Fitness and
maze,
Flex Dolores Fitness and Flex. It was underground, so they could very well we could very well find it. I mean, since the pizza place is broken, it could have opened up a path to it.
Yeah,
possible.
They can do so much with Ruin, but
they really can.
I have no idea what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I just hope they do it well. Obviously,
yeah. Definitely.
No, I hope they do it bad. They're gonna suck, and I hope so.
I just hope they're able to kind of like redeem Security Breach because I still like that game.
Me too.
But
yeah,
but you know,
I think it got overhated.
I do too, but I do think it could have been better.
I think it was kind of justifiable, but
anyway, epilogue time.
Epilogue 3.
Where do we begin?
At the beginning, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In the beginning.
Okay. No. Let's start from the end and work our way to the beginning.
Ozone. The three of us have done summaries. How about you do the last one?
Because I have read 4 epilogues and I have no idea what happened in specifically the
Oh my god, man.
Wait, I can read the wiki. Wait.
Wait, you didn't read this one?
No, he did, but he doesn't remember it.
Okay, so basically they're in the closet and they're like,
they're in the closet. Hey,
closet?
Good for them.
The 4th closet?
Yeah. They just like the Haps protagonists for real.
then they come out the closet.
Right, so basically,
So proud of them.
the animatronic basically continued making its way down the hall. Oh shoot, ads.
He just starts reading
Stopping
the
right at the door of
summary.
the storage room. Everyone tried to remain as still as possible. The light in the room started to flicker. The animatronic moved away from the room.
Why are you becoming Jessica?
Adrian opens the door and group slowly moves out. Lucia looks back at the room to see that the light wasn't flickering anymore. This is actually a really funny detail because in the first epilogue there was light flickering and we learned that that's because of the animatronic.
Even before it got there, though,
detail.
and without any electricity, the lights were still on, like the stage lights. And we also see they're still on the Security Breach too.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Does anyone remember what actually happened in it? Because I don't want to read this full thing.
Yeah, I do.
I kind of do. Someone else might be better for it.
I'd like a summary for this.
Really, just like it cuts between everybody like exploring, and they're like,
there's not much that goes on.
They like split up to like explore the place, and
4 different groups.
There's Hope and Nick, I believe it is, right?
Hope and Nick, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So basically, they're like, we're gonna explore this place, and like they come across this like cupboard, and Nick's like, I'm gonna open it, and Hope's like, I'm not so sure about the one, Chief, and he's like, I got this. Well, it could go wrong, so he opens it up, and then he gets grabbed and he gets pulled inside. He gets the whole, arms head treatment, and she's like, I'm out of here. So she's like starts screaming, she runs, and everyone's like, what's going on? And she's like, run, get the frick out of here, because Nick's dead. So they hide in like the parts and service room.
Yeah.
And she's like, guys, he's dead. And they're like, whoa, hold the frick up. What's going on?
And Adrian like doesn't care. He's like, all right, let's hide.
Yeah. At this point I kind of lost the plot. There's like a little robot dog, and then that kills Hope. So now there's only 6 of them.
There's robot dogs and cats, and they're just like, wait, how long were we out in the hallway for? It could have gone into the part and service room, the endoskeleton. It could have gone into there and like hid inside one of the suits, basically. Is what they were thinking. And then I think it was either a dog or a cat. I think it was a dog that like launched at Hope and ripped off her arms.
It was a dog. There were 2 dogs and 1 cat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. Straight off, I'm gonna come out with my opinion. I'm not as interested in these epilogues as I was from epilogue 1.
Really? Huh.
I'm offended by this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fine.
This feels racially motivated.
I kind of don't care anymore.
Offensive?
Stop saying it's offensive. I just think I think it's getting okay, dude. Okay.
Yo, homophobia story when?
They're trying.
All right.
Are you guys going to listen to my opinion, or are you going
to go on?
I'm not even allowed to speak over
Go
you.
on, I said.
Okay. I think that this epilogue, or all of the epilogues, are kind of a bit slow and boring. Which I know there's great parts, and the great parts I mean are the arms and legs being ripped off of people's bodies. But like,
Yeah,
I
that's
I,
amazing.
I just
I
think
love
it's
that.
very repetitive and boring.
I love watching people die.
Good for you.
I mean, reading about people die. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
In case there's any confusion here, I mean, like, anyway,
So okay, well, explain to me how you like it.
I love it.
Okay,
Great
how?
argument.
Why?
It's ranked highest on my tiered list right now.
Really?
Yeah,
That is unbased.
you're unbased.
No, I agree though. I think this epilogue is fantastic, and I like it better than epilogue 1.
I'm just kidding.
Really?
You're not unbased.
Yeah. I was not into epilogue 2 really at all, just because I felt like it was very slow. It was meant for character development, but all the characters really felt like walking stereotypes. But I think it sets up epilogue 3 pretty well. I really like epilogue 3. I think
All right,
we get a bit more context about the characters, and maybe it's just because I love slasher movies,
I will
but
say-
man, they do a good job of setting up the tension, and I love the gore.
It feels
Yeah,
like
I
a
will say
movie.
this. Yeah,
Mhm.
kind of. No, but the thing is, the epilogues are an ongoing story. So if we were just reading all the epilogues back to back and we thought of it as one particular story, the epilogue 2 section wouldn't be a problem because it's obviously like character development and setup and stuff. But since
That's a good point.
since there's space between each epilogue, and epilogue 2 was just all that setup and stuff, it was boring on its own, but like in the greater story it wouldn't really be bad.
Right.
And that's a good point, because I think as a whole, the epilogues need to be ranked as one story. I think, rather than
I still
a
rank them
load of mini
separately,
ones.
but
Because like the thing is, I think I have this opinion of it being kind of boring and drawn out because I read this like 2-3 months ago, and I've
Yeah.
also read the 4th epilogue too, and and I think like that's why I kind of hold that opinion. But I do think that by the end we're going to get all the epilogues, and I think it is going to be a nice story that flows well like a movie, as you guys were saying.
yeah.
And I think
And
that
lore.
that will probably boost it up. Yeah.
This needs to be like an Until Dawn type of game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think the
So-
gore is great in particular. Like, I don't know. It's not overused. It's brutal. I really like how it's done. And it ties back to epilogue 1, of course.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing story.
The good
Well,
part is
yeah,
that
but I just meant like the gore, like Burn Trap kills the same way.
Also, this epilogue was like really long. I think I counted it was like 27 pages.
It is quite long, yeah.
I enjoyed it, though.
I have no
didn't
problem
think it
with
was
that.
Too long.
I
Yeah.
think it's great. It was like a quarter of the length. No, it was like 3/5 of the length of Prankster. That's the funny thing.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
Prankster is-
the shortest.
Prankster feels like an epilogue.
Yeah. So, where would you guys rank the epilogue?
Uh,
I'm of the opinion that you can't really. I'm not of like the ranking epilogues.
I rank the epilogues, but like obviously in the end, the continuous story of the epilogue will be ranked differently than all the others. But I feel
This
like as
epilogue is an
individual
E/D.
stories, how would you would you say it's good or?
I'd say it's good. I liked it.
Yeah.
I'd say it's okay, but it probably suffers from being in Somniphobia, which has the best stories.
I can, and you know what? We won't have to wait long for the next part because Somniphobia is released today.
If I wanted to, I could read the epilogue right now. I mean, I'm gonna read the stories in order though, but
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
saying technically I could.
Can you believe we got 2 books in 1 month? Like that's crazy.
We already talked.
were talking about that
this,
before.
Yeah,
but-
well, Somniphobia has
you were
now
gone
been
for too
delayed.
long.
I'm
Somniphobia
sorry.
has now been delayed so long in Australia, it's releasing after the 4th book.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Wait, you mean they're gonna get the 4th book before the 3rd?
Yeah, Submechanophobia, I think, is releasing like today in Australia, and Somniphobia is like another week or 2 to go still.
That's crazy.
That's hilarious.
Happy
Yeah.
New Year.
I can't wait for
So-
people to read Epilogue 4 and then be like, wait, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So speaking of the new year, I think we're gonna do a Somniphobia episode as well, right?
Yep.
I would assume you
Maybe you two will join again. I don't know.
Maybe,
I don't know what
maybe,
we're planning
maybe.
at the
I mean,
moment.
depends when you would do it.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, we don't know if Inky and Underscore are going to be here.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Inky
But
will.
it'd be cool to
probably.
have you guys again.
Underscore, I don't know.
Also, sorry this wasn't a live
Yeah.
episode. It just took so long to get everything settled that it just didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
What was that? What was that?
I'm so sorry.
It's a very good question. What was that?
I was just saying, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but you like moaned it, like
You
Yeah.
moaned it.
I was
he could
pretending
barely
to
take
be
a step without
Jessica.
moaning.
You were pretending to be Jessica when you read the wiki too. Like, what was that?
Sorry, it's just my split personality.
Ah,
Okay,
okay.
yeah.
Fair.
Just like Cade in Lally's game.
True. Well, this game moment.
Overall, though, Somniphobia, great book, my favorite so far.
Yeah, what do you
Me
think of
too.
it as a whole, Psychic?
I really liked it.
Great.
Amazing. All right.
Tails is just popping off.
Yeah, once again, no bad stories, 2 great stories, in fact, and pretty great epilogue
Oh
to
my
me.
god. You guys aren't ready for Somniphobia.
Okay.
Right.
It's so
I mean,
great.
I think I'm about ready for the story Somniphobia, considering I'm like a third of the way through it. But the rest, I don't know. We'll find out
Man, I'm.
in the next step. No, just kidding. So
It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. I'm sure.
it will.
And we have other. We're not only gonna be talking about books in the future. We got some cool stuff coming up, including next episode you'll see some new video art, which is looking awesome.
Sounds based.
And yeah,
Yeah. Well, that's the end now.
Everyone's just gonna have a banger time because Darkroom's moment.
So here's the lesson from this video.
Even if someone says that they're gonna they're ready for the schedule, they might not show up.
Yeah, and also don't put your whole body in Belora's fitness and flex.
Yeah. At least get
I'm
dinner
glad
first.
you said. I'm glad
I
you
was
said
wondering-
fitness and flex. And
Yeah, I was
and
gonna
then
say, like, a lot of these
Sounds-
things-
At least
sounds
get
like a euphemism.
at least get
Body
dinner
of Belora.
first. Come on, guys.
yeah,
Yeah,
come
come
on.
Good
Be
job.
respectful.
Even
man.
fitness and flex sounds like a euphemism.
Only because you said that it
Belora's
sounds
fitness.
like that.
All right.
I
Anyway,
mean, I
bye.
can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. Who's gonna say peace?
I don't know.
All right.
Why do we keep having moments of silence?
Peace.
So Somniphobia is based.
I'm ending the
Very,
episode.
very based.
I'm ending the episode.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
Bye.
Peace.
Shut up.
Yeah, do that.
Base,
Bye.
base, bye.